There is a lot when it comes to Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville.
Joe Biden has put double the amount of people on food stamps since he's been in office. He's doubled the amount. I want you to think about that. Double the amount of people that's on food stamps. We can't, first of all, you can't afford it, and our country can't afford it. We're $31 trillion in debt. All these little things add up, but they continue want to give money out. People need to go back to work.
They want reparation because they think that people that do the crime are owed that. That is, there's no other way to read that sentence, and we've reached out several times to Tuberville's team. There's no other way to read that other than black people want reparations and they do the crime.
He is awful.
You know, our government wasn't set up for one group to have all three of branches of government. It wasn't set up that way. Or three branches, you know, the House, the Senate, and the executive.
Now, the three branches are, of course, the executive, the legislative, which is both the House and the Senate, and the judiciary.
He is not a bright fella.
You know, as I tell people, my dad fought 76 years ago in Europe to free Europe of socialism.
World War II was fought to defeat the Nazis, who were fascists. Fascism. I mean, a senator should know this.
The way I was raised, before a football game, you stood to honor America. And after the game, you knelt to honor God.
His campaign claims to adore God, but bends the knee to Donald Trump.
We are losing in the military so fast our readiness in terms of recruitment. And why? I can tell you why. Because the Democrats are attacking our military, saying we need to get out the white extremists, the white nationalists, people that don't believe in our agenda as his Joe Biden agenda. They're destroying it.
You mentioned the Biden administration trying to prevent white nationalists from being in the military. Do you believe they should allow white nationalists in the military?
Well, they call them that. I call them Americans.
And he is a danger to the American public. However, if there's one thing we've learned, it's that his crappy tendencies in politics originated in football.
So Tommy Tuberville was the coach at Ole Miss, and he had the old infamous take me out here in a pine box quote or whatever. And then you look up, the man's in the head coach at Auburn like 2 days or a day or whatever it was. We had a really bad year at Auburn. I was a player at Auburn. I was a player at Auburn. It's terrible. I come in the day after signing day. The trainer goes, "Hey, Coach Tuberville wants to see you."
Thus, with that being said, the McCready and Siskey show shared this gem.
He says, "Tyler, I signed 6 wide receivers yesterday." He goes, "If you have any more aspirations of running out of that tunnel, it'll be on the visiting sideline. Would you like your release?" Oh, I didn't say anything. I was just like, "Yes, I would." And dude, he already had it printed out and handed it to me. Already had it printed and everything. Auburn was on quarters at the time. Troy had just changed to semesters. Okay, so I had to stay through the spring quarter at Auburn to be eligible to play at Troy.
Just wait, it gets worse.
My roommate was a starter. We're driving and we go inside, we come in, we turn on, we're starting to go back to the house. They were like, "Latest news out of Auburn today, in case you haven't heard, returning starter has been released from his scholarship at Auburn University."
No way.
And he's sitting in the truck next to me. And I'm like, we're looking at each other like, what the hell? I just picked him up from practice. He says, "Can I borrow your truck and go back to the facility?" Because nobody said anything to me. So he gets in my truck. He drives up. Well, Tuberville was still there. He just said he walked straight in his office. He says, "I just heard this on the radio. Is this true?" He's like, "Yeah, we let you go this morning." He's like, "I just went to practice. Nobody wanted to tell me anything."
Unreal, except it is. More from the pod, then we'll get into it.
I had 5 national recruits on my team. This is at St. Paul's Episcopal at Mobile. Do not guess who walks to the door, obviously. Tommy Tuberville. And after the kids leave, he's sitting there and he's just kind of looking at me, you know, like, I know this guy. He's kind of looking at me, and then kind of just everybody left. It was just me and him in my office. He looks at me, he goes, "Man, you look really familiar."
No way.
And I said, "Coach, the last thing you said to me is you said I signed 6 receivers yesterday. If I have any more aspirations of running that tunnel, it'll be on the visiting sideline. Would you like your release?" I said it right back to him. And he looked at me and he was like, you know, when you look like up.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh man." And he starts like, "Well, hey, you're an Auburn guy. You're going to help me with these boys, right?" I said, "Coach," I said, I don't tell kids where to go. I'm not going to tell them where to go. I said, "But I will tell you this. If they ask me about you, I'm going to tell them the truth."
Wow.
Tommy Tuberville never laid foot back at St. Paul's the entire time.
Is
I was
that
there.
right?
Not one time. And every one of those kids went to Alabama.
My goodness. All right, let's go. But before we do, if you can, please do become a channel member at youtube.com/TYD Sports. Click the join button. It would be greatly appreciated. And or if you can, and you want to support the network as a whole, go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. His football career had stops at major D1 programs. All right. He was at Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Auburn, you name it. But there were so many things that happened that I am going to go over that are important and speak to the man's character or lack thereof. Firstly, he made over $25 million in collegiate football. How did he do it? Off the backs and bodies of predominantly black labor in college football. He knows, in a way, how to game the system, which is an A to B when it comes to football and American politics. Because there is no one that knows how to game the system better than a corrupt politician. From The Ringer, in June of 2019, Tuberville said the United States has, quote, more Middle Easterners coming across the border than we do Mexicans. Folks, they're taking over, and if we don't open our eyes, it's going to be over with. This is a man that was entrusted to be a father figure and teach many 18-year-olds that were going to college. I truly do wonder what was said in those locker rooms or even in one-on-one meetings. Because essentially what he is saying here and clinging to is the white nationalist great replacement conspiracy theory. That is exactly what this is. Yet there's more. In February 2020, he claimed there are parts of American cities where, quote, you can't drive through a neighborhood because terrorism has taken over. Sharia law has taken over. Cite it, Senator. Cite it where in the United States Sharia law has taken over. I sincerely doubt he could even spell Sharia law. Via Mother Jones, when we took away prayer in the schools in the 1960s, this is Tuberville once more, transcribed by Mother Jones, we killed this country and we got to get back to it. A common misconception for many in the MAGA movement from the outlet, it's not illegal for children to pray in schools. It's simply that students cannot be pressured to pray at the school's behest. But they don't see that. That's why they also attach themselves to the former football coach that went to the conservative Supreme Court, very important to put that in there, and won a case saying, you know what, he could actually do so, and he should be allowed to do so. And in addition, they are now fighting, and will be fighting for years to come, demanding school prayer, demanding it be mandatory. But what about if someone is not the religion that they speak of? I mean, we can go on and on here. On birtherism, a Trump staple. Obviously, there's got to be something on there that he, as in President Barack Obama, doesn't want anybody to see. I don't understand it. You know, as a common white American, I just don't understand why we just go through this, and I think it's continued to divide the country. A lie. It's dividing the country. What's dividing the country? A lie. A lie that Donald Trump ran with in order to get himself more press, be platformed, go mainstream. What's dividing the country? A fabrication. On the football side, this could possibly be the most embarrassing of them all, and it goes into his tactics as a head coach. While with Texas Tech, Tuberville would step away from a dinner with several recruits and also some assistant coaches. He would never return. Why? The next morning, he surprised many by accepting an offer to become Cincinnati's head coach. That's right. He would leave recruits high and dry at a dinner, receive a phone call, step away, and never return. A recruit at that dinner would ask all the coaches prior to, including Tuberville, how long they planned to be at Texas Tech. Well, not long, apparently. And history would repeat itself. While at Ole Miss, he would say, and I quote, they'll have to carry me out of here in a pine box. 2 days after that comment, he would step onto a private jet that was sent from Auburn And he took the job. Via Mississippi Today, it turns out no pine box was required. So when I look at Tommy Tuberville, I see a deceiving, clownish, terrible, inhumane, full of no positive characteristics shell of a man who happened to fall into being a United States Senator. We saw this history from Roy Moore being on the ballot, Alabama picking Doug Jones because they just said, that's slightly too far, even though it was closer than it should have been, of course. And then after Doug Jones's term ran its course, this is who they put in. It is a shame, and I just wish we would do better.
Some people say, well, they're soft on crime. No, they're not soft on crime. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that.